a lot of people would look at me and say that I've lived a very conservative life. My grandparents were raised conservative, I was raised conservative, and I don't take that for granted. Those traditional conservative values that I was raised with help mold me into the person that I am today. And as I've become more aware of the cultural shift that is going on in our country, it has made me fearful of the things that my kids are going to have to face. And the question I keep asking myself is, where are they going to go to have their conservative beliefs reinforced? Because to me, the generation that has come before us, the last generation of conservatives, they have failed to invest the proper amount of time, energy, and resources into being sure that conservative beliefs live on in multiple facets, multiple aspects of America's culture. Outside of church, outside of private Christian school. Where else are conservative beliefs being propagated? Because you send your kid to public school. There they learn the foundations of leftist ideology. A lot of universities are left-leaning. More organizations are starting to adopt new leftist ideology into the workplace. Most of big tech is left-leaning. Social media is left-leaning. Hollywood is left-leaning. The sports world is left-leaning. Currently our politics, our president is left-leaning. Where are they going to go to have conservative beliefs reinforced? And it's no wonder to me why young people are flocking towards the left, because at every level of society, in every aspect of their life, leftist ideology, left-wing views, left-wing beliefs are being reinforced. And to me, if you raise your kid in a two-parent home, a two-parent conservative home, that does a lot of good. But I'm saying outside of that, where can they go? And that's why I think it is absolutely necessary to be sure that conservatives, that conservative-minded people are creating their own content, building their own businesses, because there's got to be a place where there's got to be a way, there's got to be a place where young people specifically can have conservative values reinforced. And I'm not saying that you create a conservative utopia. Okay, I'm not saying that you just cut people off from left-wing beliefs, because I don't think that's right. I think that's what you're seeing from the left, is that any viewpoint that opposes them is automatically bad and therefore not worth hearing, so we're just going to cut it out completely. You don't want to do that. And I think to a certain extent it's good for people to be exposed to opposing beliefs. But it is absolutely necessary that we do more than we've ever done to combat these left-wing ideals. It's absolutely necessary. And different organizations are starting to realize this. I think about the Daily Wire. The Daily Wire recently started producing their own movies. They just had one come out. I believe it's called Run, Hide, Fight. It's about a school shooting, but it has, instead of taking the traditional context of school shootings, where it's usually a proponent of gun control, it takes it and puts a right-wing spin on it. It's absolutely 100% necessary that we create outlets, we create content that rivals and contends with the leftist beliefs that are being propagated at every level of society. Absolutely necessary. And that's one reason why I decided to start this podcast, is because, again, I fear for what is coming. I fear for the culture, that this anti-conservative culture that my kids potentially could grow up in. So that's why I feel inspired to at least try and leave something behind, to throw my voice out there, hoping to change the minds of people who are undecided, people who might not might not have seen the value in conservatism yet. And I have to do more. You know, it is up to me to do more to be sure that not only do I instill conservative values in my children, but that I set up something that is going to last, something that is going to keep those beliefs intact as time goes on. You know, and I think years back I went to a youth retreat, and one of the speakers they had there, he said something that keeps on rolling around in my mind. He said, you know, I had to be a better parent than my mom and dad. And he then proceeded to point towards an auditorium filled with young people, and he said, you're going to have to be a better parent than your mom and dad. You know, it's up to us. It's up to us to be sure that we're branching out, that we're spreading our wings, that we're giving our children and our children's children an opportunity to experience conservatism at every level of society, because right now, it doesn't really seem like it's there. And I know there's places you can find it, but it needs to be more readily available. You know, unless, you know, you send your kid to private Christian school, you send your kid to Christian college, and then you have them work at Hobby Lobby their entire life. Okay? I mean, that's fine if that's what you want to do, but I think there needs to be more. I think there needs to be more places where young people can go to experience conservative beliefs, see the value of conservative beliefs, and have those beliefs reinforced, especially, you know, as they grow and as they transition from different stages of life, that those beliefs, that those traits, that those characteristics are reinforced wherever they go. And that's part of the reason why I started this podcast. It's absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary. And I'm not saying that conservatives are victims by any means. You know, we have had every opportunity, liberty, and freedom to do whatever we want to do and create whatever content we want to create, but we need to do more. I'm not saying conservatives are victims. What I am saying is that when it comes to the war for this country's soul and for the soul of our children, we are massively outgunned, and we need to do more.